From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Less Levine on a Monday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Less Levine into our 23rd consecutive year. And as always, seen exclusively on cleveland.com. I'm Les Levine. He is Paul Hoynes. He's here to rescue me because I did 4 hours of radio today on 92.3 The Fan. Hi, you're on the air. The refs suck. Hi, you're on the air. The NBA, NFL refs are terrible. Hi. But I've got you to carry me out of the abyss.
Maybe.
I'll let you comment a minute or so on referees, and we'll talk about other stuff.
Okay.
What did you think of? Well, Isn't it a shame? 2 great games, sensational finishes, overtime, and we're talking about referees and instant replay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the last thing you want to do, to see, settle games like that. But, Les, I was thinking about this. I remember talking to an NBA ref a long time ago, and he said that the goal of an NBA referee was to let the players play on the edge of being out of control. And I was wondering if that, I was thinking about that when I was watching the NFL games, because in some cases they let them play,
right.
And in some cases,
well, tell me when they're going to do it, so the players know what they're supposed to do with that information.
I just felt terrible for the Saints.
Well, that non-call is unbelievable. I know normally you want to say let the players play, but you can't let that. You don't want a bad call to ruin the outcome of the game. There are bad calls all over the place. There's bad plays all over the place. Players don't play 100% correctly at all times. But when you get down to the last minute, you can't let a call like that cost a team a game.
Yeah, and then I guess the NFL told the Saints coach that there wasn't just one penalty on that play. There was 2 penalties on the play.
That probably made him feel much better.
Interference and helmet to helmet. I'm sure after the game, what do you think he felt like?
He said, thanks for the call. And then how about this one on the quarterback, roughing the quarterback? The guy anticipated that he was going to hit Brady. He didn't hit Brady, but he thought he was going to.
Yeah, I saw a tweet after that penalty was called. He goes, "You can't touch God." I was laughing when I saw that.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Paul Hoynes is with us. That must mean there's breaking news in baseball.
Not right now, especially with the Indians. Now, they might be doing something behind the scenes,
right?
But it is, I think right now they're pointed towards spring training. I don't think they're going to – it does not look like they're going to trade a pitcher, Corey Kluber or Trevor Bauer. I just right now I think they're going to go to camp with what they have, and I think they're going to wait for kind of the bottom to fall out of the outfield market and sign an outfielder.
All right, tell me if I'm thinking right. If they haven't made a deal for Kluber or for Bauer, that tells me they've set the price pretty high and nobody wants to meet it right now.
Exactly.
So it's not like they're being forced to get rid of them at this point. Maybe they will closer to opening day, but right now it looks like they're holding steady. Yeah,
and I think maybe what is going on here, Les, is maybe they'll try to they stay competitive until July 31st.
Right.
Maybe August 31st.
See what happens.
And then see what happens. Then trade one of those guys. Maybe they're saving all their chips for the trading deadline. We've seen them make deals at the trading deadline the last 3 years. If they're in contention, and they should be,
right.
I mean, it's not going to be a cakewalk.
No,
like
because
it's
Chicago
been the last
and
2
Minnesota
years.
has improved themselves.
And but I think maybe then they make a move, and maybe they'll try to win a division and get back to the postseason.
Yeah, because on paper at least, there's nothing they can do to bring themselves up to the Yankees, to the Red Sox, or to the Astros.
No, especially look at that Yankee bullpen. What they had, Britton, and then they re-signed Britton, and then they went out and got the kid from Colorado, Ottaviano. I butchered that name.
Right,
but I mean that's
they
a great
They also
bullpen.
traded Sonny Gray.
Right, they just traded Sonny Gray. But I mean Cashman wanted to trade him. He's been talking about that all winter. So, but that bullpen, holy mackerel, that's going to be a great bullpen, and we don't even know who's going to be the Indian setup guy right now.
Let's take a look at some stuff. Let's take a look first at the Super Bowl contestants coming up. It'll be, of course, the Los Angeles Rams, and the 3rd year in a row, it'll be the New England Patriots. How about some of these stats here? The 9th Super Bowl for Tom Brady. Is that unbelievable? 3 in a row.
Unbelievable. And he's won 5 of them, right?
And he's won 5, although one was He gets credit for winning the one against Seattle when they threw a pass at the 1 yard line. But a win is a win.
Yeah, a win was a win. That's a loss to the coach.
That's a loss to their coaches, no question about that. And I thought Sean Payton, the coach of New Orleans, said the thing that his players and coaches will never ever forget what happened on that play that didn't get called yesterday. I mean, I've been saying for years, in Cleveland, we're used to Red Right 88 and the drive and the fumble, the shot and all that stuff. Almost every city has that. I mean, the drive, the shot, the fumble, that wasn't a mistake by the referee, but it's something that has kind of held the franchises back. And I just think most franchises have something they'd like to erase from the permanent record.
Yeah, I always think that every pro team in their ballpark should have like a little cemetery like blocked off, and you have like white crosses, and you have for all the things that went wrong, like for the Indians, Mesa in the ninth inning I mean, you could fill it up, and then on the opposite side you have your statue, your monument park.
All right, can I put a name on the crosses now? Joel Skinner holding up Kenny Lofton.
Oh, God. Poor Skins.
I'll never forget that. I mean, Skinner's such a nice guy.
Oh, and he got fooled by the park. Fenway, that was...
the ball hit the side and banked up.
And Manny's throwing to second base. Manny left.
Yeah, he's afraid of the ball coming in over shortstop. You want Manny to do... Manny's going to uncork it in the stands somewhere. All right, but it doesn't bother me, at least.
Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story.
Wait, somebody that I respect, I won't name who it was, said, "Oh, well, they lost 11-3 because all the runs came in the bottom of the eighth." And but it wouldn't have been.
No, but it changed the whole momentum of the game.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you a funny.
Well, okay, then it wasn't you who said it.
No. I was sitting next to Bud Shaw at the Fenway in Fenway Park in the press box, and when Lofton got stopped at third base, I jumped up and said, "No!" And I'm sitting there. You're not supposed to say anything in the press box. And Bud is sitting next to me, and he goes, "Sit down." So Bud got the save that night.
Well, I'm glad you felt the same way I did. I think I know who disagreed with me. I'll tell you during the break. 216-575-0403. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. You, of course, are watching us exclusively on cleveland.com. Let's check out MS&LL headlines for the day. Brought to you by Northfield Park, your home for live and simulcast racing. You didn't know this, but the Cavaliers lost a game already today. We're doing the show from 6 to 7. That means they lose 1 to the Chicago Bulls by a score of, you see it right there, not good. Another double-digit loss. How about this? Sexton leads with 18 points. He's a point guard and had no assists, Hoynesy. A point guard with no assists in an NBA game. Rockets agree to trade Carmelo Anthony to the Bulls. How about that? Jeez. New England is a 2-point favorite over the LA Rams in Super Bowl 53. 216-575-0403. As you know, I'm the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Cleveland sports. I mentioned a moment ago that I did radio today for 4 hours from 10 until 2 on 92.3 The Fan, hoping I'd be able to talk about 2 great games in the NFL playoffs. Well, there were 2 great games. Nobody wanted to talk about them. They didn't want to talk about Patrick Mahomes. They didn't want to talk about Tom Brady. They didn't want to talk about Goff and, of course, Drew Brees. What they wanted to talk about is the referees and their faulty decisions and you name it. And it's unanimous. You take a look at the play Hoynesy and I were talking about, the one where should have been not only a penalty for interference, but they threw in another one, should have had another penalty on the same play. You're at the top games of your sport, getting ready to get 2 participants into the Super Bowl 53, and you wind up with junior high school referees, apparently. Nothing personal to junior high referees. In no way am I impugning them. But you got to have your best referees on. You got to know when you let them play and when you got to blow the whistle. And that non-call was maybe the worst call I've ever seen, and it in fact cost New Orleans the game. One good thing about the day, if you're a Cleveland fan, you got Teddy Ginn, you got Marshawn Lattimore, and of course Travis Kelce played great games for their teams. Unfortunately, they were in losing efforts. 216-575-0403. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine with new events posted or new content posted each and every day. Paul Hoynes and I return in a moment. Paul from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer, and we're exclusively on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Hoynes, birthdays for today. The Big Bear, Jack Nicklaus, born on this date in 1940. Colonoscopy from 1947. Do you know him?
Yes,
We all do.
Unfortunately.
You didn't know he spelled it that way.
No.
Though. Hakeem Olajuwon, I knew he spelled it that way. Detlef Schrempf. Peyton Hillis, what happened to him? And Breon Body Calhoun, the defensive back for the Cleveland Browns. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Let's take a look at our Facebook question of the day. We said, who would you like to see the Indians go after before the season starts? There's the question. Let's see some of the answers. Ray says, whoever it is, he'll have to be worth giving up Bauer or Kluber. But if we hang on to the pitchers, sign Melky or someone like him who needs a deal. Would you like to see Melky back here?
I would, yeah. I think he'd help. Yeah,
I would
definitely.
too. How about Nick Markakis?
I'd take Markakis in a minute, but he's going to be expensive.
Okay, Jim Nagley, I'm afraid they're going to have to wait and see who comes cheap. Do not think they'll trade a pitcher. Would like to see them sign Markakis. Yeah. Tim Gephardt, bring back the Milkman. All right, so two for each. And then Gregory Mees says the best relief pitcher they can get their hands on. Any good relief pitchers yet still around?
There's some out there, yes. There's some guys, there's some people still out there, but I think I would think they'll go after a hitter first. I really do.
You surprised Cody Allen got as much as he did? 1 year, $9 million?
Well, no. I thought he'd get 1 year deal. I thought he'd get a 1 year deal, but I was surprised. I was surprised the Indians weren't in on him. I thought
at $9 million.
He made 10. He made almost 11 last year.
Oh.
I thought that would be a perfect guy for them, and it doesn't sound like they were in on him. I don't know. I've got to imagine it's money. Well, two reasons. Maybe they just didn't think. Maybe they thought he lost it,
or maybe they didn't. He didn't want to be a setup man here in Cleveland.
Yeah, I thought he'd be a perfect. That's the guy they're missing in the bullpen. They're missing a setup guy.
That's the guy they had. Well, and in the outfield, the guy they needed was Brantley.
Yeah,
they had those guys within range.
Right, and Brantley was probably out of their range. What he signed, 2 years.
2 years, 16 each. I think. Yeah.
And but Miller, I mean Cody Allen's 1 year. I mean, that's what you're looking for. There's no such thing as a bad 1 year deal.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Ron, who's in Warren, Ohio. Ron, good evening. Go ahead. Hoynes is with us.
Hi, guys. Nice to talk to you tonight. And Hoynes, no stories about 80-degree weather in Arizona when you first get there.
All right. Yeah, we got caught today, this weekend.
It's all right. It hasn't been bad this winter so far. Knock on whatever.
No, it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I did want to say to Hoynes that I really enjoy reading your articles about the Indians and following through you because you seem to keep us informed. I know you're not heavily into the rumor mill, which is a good thing because there are some crazy things that fly around out there. And
he can make up rumors as well as anybody. Can't you?
I mean, how many times has Kluber been traded this winter, and to how many different teams?
I'd say 30 or 40 from the way this is going. But I have noticed that it would be if I was to pick somebody for the Indians to get at this point. I would have to take a long, hard look at A.J. Pollock just because he's the outfielder that he is. But I don't know that they want to go in that direction. But, man, we have got to get some type of offense in the outfield.
Yeah, I think Pollock is looking for a multi-year deal. If the Dodgers trade Jock Peterson, that Pollock might be a guy that they target. I know Peterson, when the Indians and the Dodgers were talking, he was in that trade. But, I mean, the Indians would have to trade, Kluber or Bauer to get a guy like Peterson, and that would just be part of the package.
You know what I think the fans would hate if they trade Kluber, and I think people understand that if that would happen, but they don't want him going to the Yankees or somebody where they're going to face him in Game 1 of the postseason.
You could. Yeah, I think you're right about that, and trade him out of the division, and if you meet him, you meet him into the World
finals,
Series. Yeah.
What
I've
else?
also heard there was something earlier today, and I think it was maybe MLB trade rumors, that the Dodgers have been talking to the Pirates about Starling Marte. And I thought to myself, well, can't we talk to the Pirates about him? Because that's a pretty darn good outfielder.
Yeah, I'd like him. I think they've got, historically, they've had a kind of a tough time getting on the same page with the Pirates. Neil Huntington is the GM there. He came up through the Indian system. They kind of judge players the same way.
Are they on good terms?
Yeah, they're on good terms. But I think they have their own. They have similar ideas about equal value for players, and that's made it tough to make deals. Now I know they made the Gonzalez deal. This winter for Eric Gonzalez.
But haven't they done all right in the trades where, when it's all said and done, they say that was a good deal for both sides? Don't you think the Indians have been involved in more of those than kind of stealing a guy?
Yeah, I think that's those are the best trades to make. Obviously, you look back at Vizquel and those kind of deals. Those didn't work out very well.
Right.
As Drupal Cabrera with Seattle, but like this, it's going to be interesting to see how this Pittsburgh trade with Gonzalez going to Pittsburgh, and them getting Luplow and the utility infielder.
Are they
back.
projecting Luplow as a starting outfielder coming out?
I think he's
out of
a
this
kind
spring?
of a swing guy, but Gonzalez could be there. He's going to get a chance to be the starting shortstop in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but as long as you still have Lindor and you have Ramirez, I'm not sure that Gonzalez is the kind of guy you have to keep.
Right, and you can find a utility infielder, and that's what he was.
Right. Anything else, Ron?
No, I just wanted to say great job, guys, and I look forward to every time Hoynes is on.
So do I. Thank you so much. 216-575-0403. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. You can catch the excitement of live harness racing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as well as Saturday evenings, 6 p.m. post time. Open early every day for simulcast broadcasting from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks all around the world. Enjoy free handicapping contests each weekend, including the popular Road to the Derby contest on Saturdays and the weekly Sunday contest featuring Gulfstream Park. It's free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. Hoynesy and I return in a moment right here on cleveland.com.
Your basement is damp, dirty, and not somewhere you want to spend time. Let Naturestone Flooring transform your basement into a true extension of your home. Naturestone's proprietary hydrostatic ports allow water to simply evaporate, so no mold or mildew. Plus, it has a higher insulation rating than carpet and is warmer than linoleum, vinyl, wood, or tile.
Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today and get up to 50% off.
Naturestone is the affordable basement floor solution that beautifies your home. Naturestone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Hoynes, it's time for a How Come Quickie. How come there's no such thing as a bad chocolate chip cookie?
I'll second that.
Yeah, you like chocolate chip cookies better than chocolate cake?
Chocolate cake's still first, but chocolate chip cookies are right
they're
there. Yeah, that's right. It lasts longer.
You know, at the radio station, sometimes somebody brings in chocolate chip cookies, and they'll say, do you want chocolate chip cookies? And I say, that's not the question. The question is, how many do you want? And the answer is, how many you got?
That's right. Oh, God.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. All right, you ready for this?
Yep.
Comparison of the lineups the last 2 years as we head into 2019. Let's take a look here. This could get nasty here. All right, so in 18 and 19, you had Lindor leading off. Then Brantley and Kipnis there in 18 and 19. Jose Ramirez. Now it's going to get nasty. Encarnacion and Carlos Santana. And we continue Yonder Alonso and Jake Bowers. This is just projected now. Melky Cabrera and Greg Allen. And Jason Kipnis, that was in 2018. Tyler Naquin, 2019. Yan Gomes and Leonis Martin in the batting order. And then we continue on. You got Roberto Perez this year coming up and Greg Allen. These are not, I don't think the Yankees are sitting at home right now saying, what are we going to do to face these guys? What do we have to do? So here you have the 2018 lineups with the combined stats of the names we put up there. 265, 191 homers, and 645 RBIs. Now we go to 2019. We'll take a look at that. 245 average, 20 points less, 148 home runs, 501 RBIs instead of 645. I mean, numbers are numbers, right?
Numbers are numbers. You can't escape them. And last year's team finished third in the American League in runs scored.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, they didn't think that was a great offensive team, but they scored runs, and they had run producers. Who's going to drive in 100 runs on this team?
Nobody. But we talked about it last week, and the prevailing attitude from the audience, from the fans and the audience was, a lot of those numbers were, you played 18, 19 games against Central Division teams. So some of those numbers may have been skewed. You weren't scoring them against Houston and Cleveland or New York.
But, I mean, they're still going to play 18 or 19 games against AL Central teams this year. So,
yeah.
I mean, you still got to replace those numbers. And, I guess you can take a little different approach. Maybe you have more speed. Maybe you push the game a little bit. If you hang on to your rotation, your
pitching is
they'll keep you in the game, but you can't win every game 2-1 or 4-3.
Especially
You're not going to
right
do
now
it.
when you don't have the relief pitching stacked
to
up the way
protect
it is.
the lead.
All right, so tell me if you're the front office now, did you think, here it is, the 21st of January, did you think you'd be at this spot by now, or did you think you'd have a better starting line? Whatever they were going to do, it should have been done by now, right?
Yeah,
or doesn't it matter?
I don't think it matters. I think the whole emphasis of the free agent scene and the trade scene has changed over the last 2 years. It's gotten later into the off season. You're going to see deals, at the end of January, now February, probably right into March. So I think, that's why they're talking about we've got to set some kind of trade deadline during the off season. Right?
Internally?
Yeah, MLB, Major League Baseball overall.
Right.
Either free agents or trades, they've got to be made by a certain date just to speed the market up. Because
is that just happening? Bryce Harper's and Machado, that's sort of holding up the whole works?
I think there's always going to be those big free agent guys on a market that are going to hold things up or going to take their time to sign. But there's no reason for like Pollock to be still out there. I think teams are waiting to see. Okay, if we miss on Harper, we got to get this guy. But why not sign him now? I think there's got to be a little, sense of urgency to put your team together. I mean, what do you think the Indians are trying to? Their ticket sales people are trying to do.
Well,
wouldn't they want to make a move now to kind of juice the ticket sales?
That might be the wrong example because they've got the All-Star game coming here,
right,
and they're
right,
probably tying. I'm assuming they're tying in. You want All-Star tickets? You got to
that's a good point.
You got to come up with the season ticket packages that they have. So that may not be a good example, but there are other small market or medium markets teams that it is a perfect example.
They can certainly use it, yeah. I mean, so I think, when I first started covering, I almost swear there was a deadline at the end of the winter meetings that kind of sped things up. And I haven't looked that up yet, but I think there was some kind of deadline in place.
Whose advantage does this work to by holding off by not having a deadline
right now? It's the owners.
It's to their advantage?
They can freeze the players out. We saw it last year. How many veterans? Why did Melky Cabrera sign in April? Yeah. You know, he's down in that bootleg camp down in southern Florida working out with the rest of the unsigned guys. You know, the island of lost toys.
They're going to start
the
their
Lost
own
Boys,
league.
yeah.
The Lost Boys.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I think it works definitely to the disadvantage of the players, especially veteran players, because you know there's so much emphasis on getting younger by every team.
Yeah, well, so is there equal fault to lay blame, or more on the owners than anybody else? Because I would think that these guys want to play, and they want to know. Here we are, January 21st. They want to know where they're going to play, where they're going to move their families, whatever they're going to do. Yeah,
and I think probably this is, there's probably equal blame, but I think it's worked much. It's the needle has swung over to the owners in this regard, regarding negotiations. Now you can get guys on 1-year deals. Now guys are getting they want to get into camp. Unless you want to get into camp. You want to, like you said, you want to know where you're going to play.
Well, other than Harper and maybe Machado, is it a situation where these guys maybe for the next 5 years are going to have to rely on these 1 or 2 year deals? Is that the way baseball has swung?
I think that's the way. I think teams would rather pay larger average annual value. Larger money on a 2 or 3 year deal,
Why?
Like a 2 year deal, like a $12 million for 2 years.
Right.
$24 million for 2 years instead of spreading it out over 6.
Because they figure they're going to get good play out of these guys this year. If their contracts if it's a 1 year contract, you're assuming that they're going to try their best to do better.
Yeah, and and with guys like there's always going to be an elite level of players that are going to be able to dictate their own terms.
Right.
But the younger, but the veteran guys and maybe guys that are just like what first time in free agency, guys that are 30 or so, they might be having to take a lesser player might be able to take a shorter contract.
We were talking about this last week that the perceived number on the perceived number on the two big free agents might have been $300 million for 10 years, but it also could have been Bryce Harper or Machado. It could have been their agent making that up to make other teams think that that's where it is. If it was $300 million and they haven't taken it, they should fire their agents.
Yeah, I mean, and Machado's agent came out. There was a rumor that the White Sox had offered him a 7-year deal for $175 million, and the Machado's agent came out and refuted it. Said we haven't had any kind of offer like that. It should be a lot more. Yeah, we want a bigger offer than that. But
a new agent.
No, this was
veteran?
Lozano, yeah.
Oh.
So I mean, this is so he really kind of took offense to all these rumors that have been circulating. So it's crazy, but.
216-575-0403 is the number to get in. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Bud Shaw here tomorrow night. Paul mentioned Bud and earlier tonight. He'll be here tomorrow. Andy Baskin will be here on Wednesday. Then we'll have the D-man, Dennis Maniloff, on Thursday as the week rolls on and we get closer to spring training. When are you going down?
I'll go February 12th. That's when camp opens.
All right, I have not checked with you, but I'm assuming you're 20 minutes away from an ad-libbed diatribe. Excuse me, I'm sorry, a rant.
Some kind of
something
rambling.
You have something coming out?
Yes,
all right, I can't wait for that. We'll take a break and come on back. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine with new content posted each and every day. You can get your picture, your words and comments right here on the air on More Sports and Less Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
It takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling to bring the heat when things get chilly. Find us at 440-449-HEAT.
Let's check out this date in sports history, brought to you by Smiley One Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. I had them come out to my house and do what they had to do to make sure I'm checked out right. January 21st, 2002, Michael Jordan plays in Chicago for the first time as a visiting player. Washington Wizards beat the Bulls 77-69. What kind of score is that in the NBA? Jeez. Jordan scored 16 points in that game. It was not as rancorous as it was when LeBron James played back here. How about that score?
They played defense then. Maybe.
Defense? What the heck is that? I got an email from Lee. Hoynes, this is way too above my pay grade here.
Uh-oh.
See if you can help me on this. Lee says, as a fan, I want the Indians to win every game. As a rational person, I know that's not happening. Does that make the term rational fan an oxymoron? Any idea what that means?
Rational fan.
A rational fan. You're a fanatic if you're a fan.
Yeah, that's definitely that's an oxymoron. You can't be rational if you're a fan.
I'm very proud of you that you came. You mean I really still shouldn't be mad at Joel Skinner? Is that what you're telling me?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, you got to let Joel up from the mat.
Unbelievable. Hey, I know you don't cover the Cavs. Thank goodness for that. They lose another game today. I think it's 16 of 17. What do you do? Okay.
You just got to grin and bear it, I guess. You just got to kind of, I mean, what's the point of this season? Is this season, do they have guys there that I would think, if I'm a fan, I'm asking myself, do I see a core of players here that can move forward and eventually turn into a contender?
The answer is no.
With the addition of one or two, key players.
The purpose of this season is to lose enough games, which they'll do without trying, and they've changed the way the draft works. But it appears that the top three teams will have an equal right to the number one pick. If you can get Zion Williamson from Duke, that's a good start. But you need 3 Zion Williamsons.
Yeah, I mean.
So how'd you enjoy the parade?
I did enjoy the parade. What year? That's 2016, right?
Well, that should last 50 years.
That's sure. I remember coming up St. Clair Avenue. It looked like the whole city was on the move, man. It was crazy.
Unbelievable. It was fun. If the Browns would win it, championship, there would be more people, right?
I think so.
Depending on the weather, maybe.
But. Yeah, depending on the weather, but that parade might last a while. I don't know if the city would still be standing after that one.
Don't give anybody ideas.
Yeah.
Don't give anybody ideas. What do you think about the Browns? I mean, you think that I think the fact that they're coming up as everybody in the division's coming down is
yeah, that's
good.
a good sign. I think what they did this year was great. I just hope people kind of keep their emotions and expectations in check.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard people say if they don't make the postseason next year, it's going to be a failed season. What if they go 9-8 or 8-8?
You can't control what the other teams do.
Yeah, I just think it happens in stages.
When Romeo Cornell was here, they went 10-6, and that was a year, unfortunately, 10-6. It would normally be good enough. It wasn't. So there wasn't anything they did.
Yeah. Just take a deep breath and enjoy it. You got the quarterback, and that's the key thing.
That's a start. 216-575-0403. All right, we talked Indians, and we talked about a concern, which is the bullpen. Let's take a look at what's going on in the bullpen, if anything. Here you see Nick Goody, then you see Tyler Olson. Are those guys healthy enough?
Yeah, I know Goody said he was, and Olson said yes.
Okay.
Check marks by those guys.
So far you got a lefty in Tyler Olson. You've got Dan Otero, Neil Ramirez, Adam Simber is a lefty also. Oh, no, he's a sidearm
submariner.
guy. It's Brad Hand who's the lefty. Danny Salazar, should he be on this list, or is that a different list?
Francona said he's not going to be ready for opening day, so he's on a different list.
What year are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, Terry Pluto had a great description of Danny Salazar. He said he's a lottery ticket, and that's what he is.
If it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
And the bullpen has become, partly because of Francona and his own doing, the bullpen is a totally more important role than ever before.
Yeah, and it's weird. The Indians are kind of going in the opposite direction.
Right.
They have the great rotation, and now their bullpen is very shaky. And you wonder, does that mean the starters get squeezed, and are they burned out by the All-Star break?
That's what I was going to ask you. They have the starting pitching. Does it mean they'll go more innings, or they'll go less and not be as effective?
No, I think he'll try to protect the bullpen as much as he can.
The bullpen.
I think and get your best relievers in that group. You want to pitch them as much as you can. So I think you're going to ask a little more from those starters. That's just me. An inning more. Something like that.
Well, I think those guys can handle it.
Yeah, and you just got to be careful because you don't want them to be out of gas in September.
Right. This whole thing is about the marathon, not the sprint. Yeah. So, do you see them getting another reliever? Or two?
I think they'll add a reliever. I think they have to. I don't see a qualified setup man there.
Not on that team.
That's what they need. Think of the strength of this bullpen over the years. It was Vinny Pastano, Joe Smith, and Perez as closer. Recently, Brian Shaw, Cody Allen, or Miller and Cody Allen. They've always had that three-man knockout punch at the end of the games, and unless Francona pulls a rabbit out of the hat with these guys, I don't see that.
However, he loves doing that.
Yes, he does.
He loves
he's very
that part
good
of the
at
game,
it.
and he's good at it.
And he knows how to get the most out of each guy and what they do best. If he's got to face a lefty in the sixth inning, Olsen, you let him face him, then get him out of there.
Right. So some fans may not be aware of this. A decision made about a guy in the eighth inning probably has been made maybe in the fifth.
Yeah, or if not earlier. These guys, Les, these guys have so much information available to them. The
analytics thing.
Yeah, and they have lineups suggest. I was listening to something on TV, and there were a round table of GMs, and they said the Kansas City GM said, our analytical people prepare a lineup every day for Ned Yost, and we give it to Ned Yost, and it's up to him to make changes.
Approximately how many times, what percent of the times will he go with that?
And now Ned Yost said that, I'll change it, it's up to me, but he takes into account what they're, and it's all analytically based.
There still has to be a gut.
Yeah, there has to be a gut, but I think the bullpen probably works the same way. When, like we said before, when you play these guys 18, 19 times a year, you know the matchups.
Right.
You know who you're going to be facing in the seventh or eighth inning if you're facing the White Sox, and you know who you got in your bench.
Yeah, it used to be you'd check out who the starting pitcher was going to be because you're going to face him three times at least, and you don't even think about the bullpen. Now you have to.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way to get around it. I mean, and if it slows the game down, and people hate it when you use 3 or 4 pitchers in one inning. But if that's what you have to do to protect a lead and get it to your closer, that's what you have to do.
That just shows you how bad the pitchers may be.
Right.
If you got to baby him that much.
Yeah, and Francona is great at that. He knows what a guy can and can't do.
You know what else he ought to do? Take his pitching staff to Sokolowski's University. It's a 5-minute ride from Progressive Field, right?
Yeah.
Over the bridge, there you go. You're going to find it in Tremont, where it's been since 1923. They are the winners of the James Beard Foundation Award 3 years ago. Only 5 restaurants in the country win that, and they're the only Cleveland restaurant ever to win the James Beard Foundation Award. It's Cleveland's oldest family-owned and operated restaurant, open 11 to 3 Monday through Friday, and Friday and Saturday nights for dinner. We've got one more segment to go, then Hoynes will unload with a rant. Back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine continues on cleveland.com.
Concrete in your garage is uneven, cracked, pitted, and just plain ugly. Transform your garage into a welcoming entryway with Nature Stone flooring. Reduce tracked-in dirt, eliminate puddling and salt damage. Plus, Nature Stone corrects uneven concrete so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable garage floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
All right, now we take a look at this date in Les Levine history. Back in 1978, Les was given a present of a bowling ball and shoes. He had never seen a pair of bowling shoes that didn't have a number on it. That's fashionable. Can you imagine going into a shoe store and said, I'd like to buy a pair of shoes that has the number 10 on the back? 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Let's go to, well, we'll make this a doubleheader today. BP, I talked to him this morning on radio. Hello, BP and Pepper Pike.
Hey, Les and Paul, how you guys doing tonight?
You're doing well. How are you?
BP.
Doing well. I feel like I watched 2 Super Bowls yesterday.
They were pretty good, weren't they?
Yeah. It just, I don't have a hangover this morning, so I know it wasn't a Super Bowl.
Well, that's a sure way of testing it.
Yes, that's how we do it here. But
who do you like in that? Who do you like in the game?
Amazing games.
Yeah, who do you like in the game coming up? New England is a 2-point favorite.
Like I said to you before on the fan on the radio, I'm never going to go against Tom Brady again. I don't care if he's 50 years old in a walker.
He's pretty good, man.
If he keeps not getting hit like he didn't get hit yesterday, he'll stand around for a while.
Then they had that phantom call against him where they said, roughing the passer.
That's what I mean. He pretended to be hurt. He didn't even fake it.
No, I mean, the referees, I do feel bad for the people, and I think you mentioned this on the radio today, like the people in New Orleans, like this is like their red, right 88, like these blown calls that you may never get to that spot again.
The red, right 88 wasn't a referee's call, but it was something that happened.
Opportunity. It's
yeah,
just like
exactly.
the fumble and the drive. They're missed opportunities that you never get back again.
We're the only city, I believe, Hoynes, that actually names all their disappointments. We don't have one for Mesa. Mesa, dude, just call it the Mesa.
God, just call it agony.
Yeah, because I lived in Philadelphia. Like, they lost to the Oakland Raiders in the Super Bowl. They don't have a name for that loss. It was just
nobody has names. We're the only ones who have names for it.
Well, once you get to the Super Bowl, you're okay, Just get there for one time, and then win or lose, I think.
That's different than the World Series and maybe the NBA Finals. If you get to those, you need to win it. The Super Bowl, the way they have it set up, it's pretty good just getting there.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I want to lose.
And you got what, at least 5
shots? I was wrong on the predictions on both games yesterday, but those games were so close.
Yeah,
that,
play
they
here,
could have
play
swung
there.
either way, and I still think, the referees kind of had their hand in both those games.
Yeah.
My thought is, I still believe this, that I say next season the Browns will be in the playoffs, and I think the year after that the Browns could be in one of those in that championship game. That's my thought.
Well, you got to do it one step at a time. I know that's a cliche, but that's a little different than somebody getting hot in baseball. Oh, the NBA, you can't just get hot either. You got to be pretty darn good to get there. If you're not,
I just hope we're not going against Tom Brady in one of those games.
Yeah,
he'd be really old then.
Yeah.
But my thought is, I saw the line already. It's the Patriots are favored by 2.
Right.
In the Super Bowl, and you know what? If I'm not betting on this game, but I'll take Tom Brady. You got to have a huge lead. He's just unbelievable. And then, between he's got the one Julian Edelman, the one receiver, and then he's got Gronk. He's got 2 good to great weapons, and it's just hard to defeat that.
That Edelman is terrific. He's terrific.
I forgot where he went to college, but
he went to
he's
Kent.
a local.
He's from California, but he went to Kent State.
Right.
How about there was a block that Gronkowski had downfield that was unbelievable. You wouldn't think he'd be running downfield and hitting people.
Yeah, I saw him on one of those plays, a running play late. I don't know if it wasn't a touchdown, but it got him down there late. Him and the tackle took out two guys on the right side.
Taking them all the way down the field. Yeah. Hey, BP.
One thing I did want to mention is I thought Tony. I'm not a huge fan of Tony Romo's analysis over the last 2 years. But
he was tremendous.
I don't like his delivery. To me, it seems like amateurish somehow. But
he doesn't have that much. He doesn't have that much experience at it. But I think he was tremendous. He was telling him what to do, and he'd say, "All right, watch Edelman in the middle. There's Edelman in the middle." Well, if he knows that, why don't they know it?
And then I think you could tell he's right out of the game. You know, and he can still see everything. Yeah. He knows the coaches. He knows the opposition.
Right.
And when they put Gronk out wide left, and he said the ball's going there. That's what they got to do, and bang, it's right there.
Yeah, because he's talking about a guy with his height versus a guy who's smaller, and he saw it immediately.
And his enthusiasm was like bubbling. You know, he couldn't contain himself.
Yeah, I agree. All right, BP. Great to talk to you. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Hoynes coming back with a rant after we tell you about Northfield Park, your home for live and simulcast racing. You can catch it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Saturday evenings at 6 p.m. post time. Open early every day at noon for simulcast action from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks around the world. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. Hoynes actually has notes. I've never seen that happen before.
I got notes. I had to bring notes for the Super Bowl.
Okay. I got you. All right, we'll take a break. We're coming back with a Hoynes rant when we get back. More sports and less Levine exclusively on cleveland.com.
When my dad started Nature Stone, he created a solution for age-old concrete problems: unevenness, cracking, pitting, and more. Nature Stone solves all of these problems in garages, basements, and outdoor spaces. Nature Stone is beautiful, environmentally friendly, and affordable. Plus, Nature Stone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Tomorrow night, Bud Shaw from WKYC.com joins us. Wednesday night, Andy Baskin from 92.3 The Fan. Then it'll be the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff from cleveland.com. That'll be on Thursday night. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine, with new content posted each and every day. Send us a response to our question of the day, and you'll see your picture, your name right here on cleveland.com. All right, Hoynes, we've come to the moment we are all awaiting. I'm just assuming this will be the best one of the year, although it's a shortened part of the year at this point. But I'm going with you. I'm taking Hoynes and the points here. Here's, with an exclusive rant, here's Paul Hoynes.
Les?
Yes.
Les.
Oh, wait a minute. You're doing it left-handed
I know.
tonight.
I'm a righty, too. No, Les, I love Game of Thrones. You know, I love sword and sorcery and dragons, fine-breathing dragons, and the Wall and the White Walkers and palace intrigue, you know, and family feuds. But I got a problem with it. You know, this show has been on a 2-year sabbatical. I mean, it's supposed to start in April again, and okay, great, you know. But, you know, I'm thinking, you know, Did Leave It to Beaver ever take a 2-year sabbatical? What about Bonanza and the Big Valley and the Rifleman and Happy Days and NYPD Blue and Law and Order? I mean, didn't they show up every year and grind it out? I mean, what's going on here? So I'm thinking about this, and it's keeping me up at night. I'm twitching and turning, and then I think, okay, well, maybe this isn't such a bad idea. A little sabbatical, a little break. 2 years, 1 year. Well, so what if the Indians, stop production for the 2019 season? I mean, they just moved to the Fiji Islands, played 162 games at 9 a.m. on one of the islands, okay? And we don't see them, okay? Fine, okay? So, but then in 2020, okay, we find out, can Tyler Naquin, can Greg Allen, can Brandon Lupo, are they everyday outfielders? We'll know by then. And what about Leonis Martin? Will he be healthy? We'll find out. And and then we won't have to watch. We won't have to watch Terry Francona navigate his way through this bullpen with A.J. Cole and Adam Simber and Neil Ramirez and the ghost of Danny Salazar. We can do without that. We'll be past that. And in 2020, when that rolls around, we've still got 2 years of Frankie Lindor at his peak. We've got maybe if they don't trade Corey Kluber, we got him for 2 more years. If they pick up his options, the rest of the rotation is good. Then. Jose Ramirez is back, and lo and behold, what if the Indians are the mystery team and they sign Manny Machado? He goes to Fiji, okay, good deal. He comes back, look, he's your third baseman. So it could happen. And what about the Browns? What about if their season got lost in the Bermuda Triangle, their 2019 season? Okay, so they come back in 2020. Baker Mayfield has this no more sophomore jinx. He doesn't have to even come rub shoulders with that. 2, their season of expectation is over. They don't have that monkey on their back. 3, we find out if Freddie Kitchens and Baker are still buddies. Are they still talking to each other? They can get down to business then. So that's good. That's really good. And what about the Cavs? Now, Les, I'm going to tell you. A 2-year sabbatical for the Cavs is not enough. It is not enough. They should take 5 years off. But, that's not being fair. So let's give them a 3-year break. They take the team, they go to Superman's Fortress of Solitude for 3 years and work on their jump shot. Okay? So that's not bad. Do you really think the Cleveland Cops, somebody would put out an APB, an all-points bulletin for the Cavs that are 9-37 and have lost 16 of their last 17 games.
Nobody's worried about
them. Who's looking for them? And then 3 years later, maybe LeBron is back. And 3 years later, maybe LeBron's kid is back.
as soon as his thigh heals.
Yeah, and maybe J.R. Smith shows up. Who knows? But there's one fly in the ointment. The Indians are supposed to, host the 2019 All-Star Game. So I'm thinking about that. But the Dodgers have the 2020 game. So all they have to do is flip-flop. But, Terry Francona always talks about unintended consequences. This would be an unintended consequence. They don't have the 2019 All-Star Game, and the ghost of Chief Wahoo comes back and becomes their logo again. Could that happen? I don't know. But you know what? You know what was in the sky Sunday night? A super blood wolf moon. That's a rarity, and so that means anything could happen.
You're a genius. The heck with Einstein. We got Hoynes. So maybe we can make a trade with the Dodgers. All-Star game for All-Star game. Throw in Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, why not?
Wow. What happens? Give me some insight on how that just developed. Were you wide awake last night? Were you driving in with all the snow? What?
I was thinking about it last week.
Yeah.
And it kind of was rumbling.
It went from there.
Yeah.
It's the best. Thanks to Paul Hoynes. Hoynes, you can follow him in the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. He's going down to Goodyear. That'll be, what, the 12th, maybe?
The 12th, yes.
The 12th of February.
Yep, it's coming.
One good thing is it seems pitchers and catchers seem to be reporting earlier in recent years.
Yeah, usually when they report this early, I mean, the World Baseball Classic,
Yeah,
but this
that's
isn't
true.
a World Baseball Classic, but the season is starting earlier.
All right, Bud Shaw joins us tomorrow night. Then it'll be Andy Baskin on Wednesday and D-Man, Dennis Maniloff on Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.